When the remakes are being made, all them are great. You may be mad, but remember you don't see them cave. Tunes, you live in the heat, the sun, where you to love them, how you hate them, how you hate them forever tunes. When the remakes are being made, all them are great. You may be mad, but remember you don't see them cave. Tunes, oh tunes, live forever. Oh tunes. Have you heard of Django, the Italian film directed by Sergio Corbucci back in 1966, starring Franco Nero as Django? Well, I guess not. To make it fast, the movie was about an ex-Union soldier with a coffin who ends up in the middle of a war between Mexicans and the Klansmen. And a lot of things happened there. From saving a mixed-race woman from quicksand, using a machine gun, getting his hands broken, and proceeded to defeat the Klan despite his broken hands. Interesting stuff. But then, in 2012, Quentin Tarantino released to the world Django Unchained. This wasn't a sequel to Corbucci's film, but a homenage, and today we're gonna review it. The movie starts with the same song that started Corbucci's Django. 2 years before the Civil War, a slave owner was bringing his slaves somewhere, I don't really know. Suddenly, a dentist called Dr. King Schultz appeared. At first, the slave owner thought he was just asking for direction, but then he kills them. Yes, it was the Civil War era. As now the free slaves proceed to beat the shit out of the slave owner, King befriends one of the free slaves who was interested in where he was going. And guess what was his name? Django? That's right. He's played by Jamie Foxx, who also played Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. King and Django went on horse on a small town nearby and entered a local place, even though the sheriff wanted them dead for literally just letting Django in. They were in a time where black people were given many rights. King and Django survive thanks to King's ability to avoid confrontation if necessary. After getting Django a new clothes, we get to know what King's plan is. King is hunting down the Brittle brothers as well as many wanted criminals. Django, on the other hand, wanted to find her love, Brumilda, after they were separated and mistreated by their owners. It's sad and horrible, I know. At the plantation run by Big Daddy, King went to talk with him, while one of the slaves guided Django around the plantation. Both King and Django were looking for the Brittle brothers, and Django instantly recognized them and... I'm looking for the YouTuber who killed the... I like the way your box office flop, boy. Django kills two of the brothers and saves Yodi from getting whipped. Later, Django gets found by Schultz and shows him where the last one is, and Schultz shoots him. Big Daddy was going to kill them, but he can't because the Brittle brothers were outlaws who were wanted dead or alive. That way, King and Django not only escaped, but also got a monetizable award. Big Daddy was furious, and during the night he had a reunion with the clan. They wanted to hunt down Django and King, however they were having problems with their hoods. This gave King the opportunity to let them a trap and led them to their demise. King decided to train Django in the art of gunslinging during the winter. Together, they would kill various bandits. They were unstoppable. They were... something like that. Then after some time, they went to Mississippi, and they went to search for Calvin Candy. Not exactly, my friend. He's the owner of the 4th biggest plantation in Mississippi, and they definitely don't plant candy in Candyland. Correct, she was there. They plan to infiltrate Candyland and buy Broomhilda so she can be with Django again. King's plan was to make Django pass out as an expert in Mandingo fights, and King pretended to be a seller interested in those. It's just a disguise, he's not betraying his own for real. At the Cleopatra Club, Django and King are directed to Calvin Candy, who is enjoying 2 black men fighting for him, basically the Mandingo fights. Yes, he was. But ignore that and listen to the story. Django encounters a man with a familiar face. He asks him to spell his name, and Django does it at the same time he states the D is silent. It was played by Franco Nero, the original Django. Anyway, Django and King go alongside Calvin to Candyland with Calvin's men and slaves. Django didn't want to go on feet to avoid Calvin's friend's mockery, so he trips one of them and climbs on his horse. While on the road, a rap song called 100 Black Coffins played in the background of the road. And during the road, Calvin sends some dogs to kill a slave, and it's really hard to watch, actually. At Candyland, they finally encounter a black house slave owner, the worst of them, all according to Django, Steven. Because of what he did in the film? Calvin orders Steven to release Broomhilda from her punishment in the well, since he is cited to have King, a German, able to talk with someone who also knows German. Oh, it was a cruel time, Waddle Dee. King had a talk with Broomhilda and tells her of Django and the plan to help her be free. Broomhilda was surprised of Django's return, that she fainted. She is fine. Later, Django and King are having a dinner with the guests of Calvin. However, things get tenser when Steven discovers that Broomhilda and Django are in a relationship. Steven quickly tells Calvin that Django and King aren't interested in the Mandingo fights. They are interested in Broomhilda. Calvin is mad and decides to get all the guests out except for Django and King. Calvin takes a skull and talks about a false scientific fact that states that black people have a exclamation spot under their head or something. Which is a false and racist idea, by the way. And when he's talking, his men appear with guns in the back. Calvin was nuts because of the lies. Of course, Dee. With no more options left, King decides to give Calvin his money to buy Broomhilda. No wonder Tarantino hated this guy. He's like one of those small-sized crazy villains from animated movies. He did. However, he wasn't ready to lose yet, so he shoots and kills Candy, but this causes his sad demise by the hands of Calvin's men. Django immediately goes on a massacre in Calvin's manor while Steven cried to death with his owner. After a long massacre of bullets and blood, Django finally surrenders after being outnumbered, and he's tortured, and I think he lost his balls too. Those are Ocaran's balls, idiot. Django is sent to mine alongside other slaves, and this is where Django uses his skills he learned from King himself against the transporters. Django managed to kill them using the convincing skills and the gunslinger skills he learned from King. Now he went on a horse to rescue Broomhilda and kill Steven. Django went to an old house they had Broomhilda capture and kill all the members inside. He also said goodbye to King in German and finally was with Broomhilda. King ended up keeping his promise to help Django after all. Don't cry, my friend. Django finally gets to Calvin Manor before Steven and the others. He kills 2 of Steven's men. He then confronted Steven by himself. Django shot both of his legs and left them in the house. And the house, after leaving, ended up blowing up thanks to the explosions he left behind. He then left alongside Broomhilda, and they lived happily ever after, away from Candyland and away from all threats that life had on that time. Let's go, Waddle Dee. Let's continue until we find Fuzzy Lumpkins. Sooner or later, Hyena.
Expect me like you expect Jesus to come back. Expect me, I'm coming.